A Sevier County couple is on trial in connection with a chaotic confrontation with a deputy back in 2016. You may remember this encounter. Deputy Justin Johnson responded to a call to help a woman who had fallen. In the video, you can see Johnson talking to the woman. In the minutes that followed, he saw Tina Cody, who he suspected had an outstanding warrant. He handcuffed her, which is when she began cursing at him. Johnson then saw Brian Molinax and thought he had something in his hand, then began shooting in his direction. Johnson said that was self-defense. He then seemed to have a panic attack. An EMT helped him regain control before they ended the body camera video. Johnson has since left the sheriff's office. Cody and Molinax were arrested and charged with misdemeanor assault of that officer. Today, their trial began for those charges.